Good evening. This evening, like many others, I spent a lot of time looking at old newspaper articles. And I came across something that I didn't realize. I believe that President Joe Biden not only ended the war that he was so known for leaving our troops and everything while he was president, while he was Senate, he has been honored with the statement that they believe he single-handedly ended the Vietnamese War. Now, we all know that the Vietnamese War was just as bad as the fiasco that he did when he was as president. It goes on to say that Obama said he chose Biden because Biden had vast experience with foreign affairs. But this article says that in the 1970s, Biden opposed any aid to the South Vietnamese government in this war against the North. As a result, the Democratic majority in the Congress cut off all funds to the South, and this quickly led to the fall of the South Vietnam. This misguided effort helped communism advance in the region and resulted in thousands of deaths in South Vietnam and led to the killing fields in Cambodia. Over 2 million people by the rogue statement. Biden opposed President Reagan's efforts to fund the Nicaraguan Contras, a group of freedom fighters attempting to overthrow the communist regime of Daniel Ortega. He was a fierce opponent to Reagan's Strategic Defense, SDL. He voted against funding it, saying the president continued adherence to the SDL constituents are one of the most reckless and irresponsible acts in the history of modern statecraft. If you are familiar with history, the idea was the main reason that the Soviet Union finally collapsed and the Cold War finally ended. Biden has remained a constant critic of our missile defense, even opposed the U.S. dropping out of the anti-ballistic missile treaty. It was all to do with the Soviet collapse, and he did everything he could do to keep the Soviets running smoothly. In 1990, Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, and as we learned later, he was much closer to attaining nuclear weapons than had been assumed. President George Bush sought to have the war from Congress, and guess what? Biden voted against the first Gulf War, saying, what vital interests of the United States justify sending Americans to the deaths in the sands of Saudi Arabia? Well, now when we get no oil, they didn't even answer the phone. I mean, he's always on the wrong side of a major issue. 2008, Senator Biden voted to authorize a war to liberate Iraq, but in 2006 he argued for the partition of Iraq into 3 regions, which would have destroyed any possible means of unifying the country. In 2007, he opposed President Bush's troop surge. Candlelight and a tragic mistake turned out to be quite the opposite. Without the surge, the war would have been lost, and the weak beginnings of a central government would have collapsed. In the last few weeks, the Iraqi central government finally compromised on some major issues because of the different ethnic groups that can now see the benefits of cooperating and feel that the United States troops will stay on until the Iraqi troops can handle their own future. In the 35 years Biden has been in the United States Senate, and on any important issue, his judgment has been deeply flawed. He's built a record on bad assumptions, misguided analysis, and there are few members of Congress whose record on national security matters could be judged with the benefits hindsight as to be as consistently bad as Senator Biden. So, was he basically responsible for the end of the Vietnamese War, where we were humiliated horribly, and all millions of deaths? 2 million, they say.